Welcome to Understanding Conscious Cryptids with me, Kat Hansen. I am bringing you this show in an attempt to educate you about the forgotten creatures and beings that exist alongside of us on this amazing planet that we call home. Many of these hidden beings are elusive and highly intelligent. Our ancient ancestors of North and South America knew of and understood these beings quite well. I have designed this show as a sister program to our Understanding Sasquatch series. Many people are coming into contact with these elusive creatures, and they do not have any knowledge or understanding of what it is they are seeing and interacting with. This oftentimes leaves these individuals fearful and confused. It's my intention to shed some light and share knowledge through this series. I am going to help alleviate that fear and confusion. It is time for the light to shine through the darkness. If you are interested in sharing your encounter, contact me directly at cathansen@yahoo.com, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Hi everyone, it's me, Kat. Welcome back. So today's lesson is going to be about shapeshifters. Now, I know that in some cultures aside from Native Americans, they are very familiar with this subject. But in America, we're not too familiar with it. So what I want to do is explain about the beings that actually have this ability, and also some of the human beings that share this gift. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with the laokas. The laokas are associated with the chway, and the chway are the big, nasty smelling Bigfoot stayama beings that have red glowing eyes. Okay, now I'm not talking about red eye shine. I am actually talking about the stories or the encounters that some of you may or may not have had yourselves with these guys. The chway are enormous Bigfoot. They are stockier and much wider and just all around heavy duty beings. They also have 3 toes, and they live underground. Now, chways are known for being able to smell out blood. And when I say smell blood, I'm talking like a shark, parts per million, okay here? These guys can catch a scent better than any bloodhound when it comes to blood. I guess it's just a gift that they were given, but that's what they do. And it's really kind of daunting to think about these guys when you're out there. It's actually pretty scary. As a child, I used to catch them in the swamps, running around out there at night, and I really did my best to avoid them. If anybody who is in the swamps or hangs around the swamps, you guys know that that's some of the best time for fishing and hunting. Well, I used to do it a lot as a child because I was a bad kid. I never stayed put. They'd put me to bed and I'd go out the window and away I'd go. So I ran the swamps with my little boat, and I'd do whatever I wanted, and there wasn't too much they could do to me to stop me, so I was just going to do it. And I already had encounters with skunk apes, and the skunk apes don't really bother me, never have as a child. I always found them to be gentle and kind of shy. They didn't want to be bothered, so they pretty much kept to themselves. chway are completely different. Now, if I tell you that if you caught one fish with a hook in its mouth and pulled the hook out and tore it, and you got, I don't know, say half a teaspoon of blood on your hand or on the fish, and we're walking home, a chway could smell that blood from at least 2 miles. At least. You know, these guys are crazy hunters, and they will come for that kill that you have made. They don't care if you're a human attached to the kill. They don't really care. They just want to come and get this object. Now, as a child, I didn't really understand all too much. You know, I mean, I'm not going to say I was dumb, because I wasn't, but I hadn't really put all the pieces together with these guys. I just knew that the elders and some of the guys that hunted in my tribe had specifically told me that when I saw them, I was to run. And I mean run, and I mean haul balls. That's how they put it to me. You know, you pick up your butt and you run. And I said, okay. So I couldn't take him on with my little bow and arrow that I had, and I certainly couldn't take him on with my 22 rifle that I had. So, I mean, I was kind of in trouble here. So I figured, okay, I better take these guys seriously. If they say he's going to eat me, he's going to eat me. So, growing up, I heard about the chway very piecemeal, because the guys on the res where I grew up didn't want to really talk about these things, because we had an elder that told everybody in the tribe that if you talked about them, it would bring them into our area. Okay, and I didn't understand that. As an adult and interacting with the Steyama or the Sasquatch beings, I totally get it now. But back then, as a child, I didn't understand. So we really didn't talk too much about the chway, and if we did, we kind of did it in whispers, you know, and looking over our shoulders and making sure that we weren't talking outside about it. You know, we were in our houses doing it. So when I was out running the swamp, if I ran into one of these guys, let me tell you, these guys are completely different temperament than skunk ape or Sasquatch beings. These guys are mean. They are vicious. They will come after you. They will stalk you. They will hunt you. They will track you. And whatever you have, be it a deer, a coon, a possum, a boar, they don't care. They're going to take it. You know, and I've known so many people that I have lost track of the count that over the years have told me, Kat, I was hunting, saw this big hairy Bigfoot with these red glowing eyes, and the next thing I know, bam, there went my kill. It's gone, and this thing is tracking me. And I'm telling them, well, yeah, it's tracking you because you got blood on you. You know, all hunters get blood on them. You know, even if we wipe it away with a cloth or something, when we're out in the field, we still smell. You know, and I speak from experience because I am a hunter. Okay, so these guys are notorious for coming up out of the ground, out of the caves in the ground, and stalking people that are out at night hunting or fishing at night. Most encounters with these guys are night, late night. These guys are very, very nocturnal. They don't like to come out before 10 or 11 p.m. I'm serious here. They come out after that time, and they're usually back underground by daybreak. They really don't like the light. It messes with their eyes, and they just have to be where they have to be. You know, I can't emphasize enough that I tell people that when you encounter one of these red, glowing-eyed Bigfoot type beings, you need to stop what you're doing and you need to leave. I tell people all the time, they say, oh, I love Bigfoot. I deal with Bigfoot beings all the time. I'm not afraid of them. This is something that you need to be very afraid of. Okay, these guys have 3 toes on their feet, so they leave a very funky footprint, okay? And in doing this, what you're going to see by this, it does not look like any other Bigfoot print. It's got it's a foot with 3 toes, and it's very strange. It almost looks like something prehistoric, okay? And this goes back again to what my people have always said about the Bigfoot beings, and their kin, is that they are related to an ancient type of alien, okay? And this alien, call it a chameleon or whatever you want to call it, we don't really know, but this ancient alien had the ability to shift its form, okay? Now, chway don't really twist and shift their form too much. And by this, I'm saying I want people to be aware that when I talk about the chway as being a shapeshifter, he has the ability, just like the other Sasquatch do with their strange long vocal tract and their vocal cords, to mimic and throw his voice. And that's the part that I want people to be aware of with these guys, okay? Because you guys can think that they're, a mile behind you, because that's what it sounds like, when in reality, you go 10 feet and step on the trail, off the trail onto a new turn or whatever, and bam, he's standing right there waiting for you. When you encounter one of these things, I mean it, people, I don't want you out there. I want you to drop whatever you've got, and leave. And I know that I get a lot of stuff over it when I say give it to him, because people, I get it, okay? I grew up really piss poor, and I grew up really hungry all the time, and it was not a good way to grow up, but that's the way that I did. And I understand about food. Believe me, I do. My kids all know I do too, because I overfeed everybody now, because it's what I do, because I went hungry for so long as a child. So I want people to understand that I'm not saying it lightly when I tell you, give them whatever you have taken, okay? Because it's either going to end up really violently for you, or you're going to get away safely. And that's what it comes down to, is that you give up to them. Because the way that my father used to say it was, run away and live to fight another day. And that's exactly how you need to treat these guys. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk here too about a true shapeshifter in the cryptid world, and that is the laoka. The laoka are really scary. I've only encountered these guys a handful of times, and where I encountered them, was in Georgia and actually in New Mexico. These guys are scary, creepy, okay? They are akin to the steyama and the chway. They are just so creepy looking that it's hard for people to really stand there and stare at them. I mean, seriously, because when you're staring at something and your brain is I tell people all this time, your brain is not your friend, okay? It will classify things for you to make you feel comfortable, okay? So it's going to take whatever you're seeing and saying, oh, it's a man in a gorilla suit, and your brain just tells you that. So you rationalize it. Oh, okay, I'm seeing a man in a gorilla suit and everything's okay. When in reality, you have time to think it over later, and then you start rationalizing, okay? And once you start rationalizing, you realize that your brain is not your friend, because it's going to lie to you to make you feel comfortable, because it's catching up with the fact that your body is pumping out endorphins, and adrenaline, trying so hard to not be afraid of whatever it is you're seeing right there, that it's going to start telling you, hey, you know what, calm down. Let me soothe you here. You don't want that, okay? When you see these guys, I want you guys to get the heck out of there, okay? And I'm not a coward. I am not. I'm scared to death of human beings because of all the stuff that was done to me, when I was attacked. But I am not afraid of anything, and I mean anything, in the cryptid world and in the outside nature world. I'm just not, because I know that I'm fine with them, but most people don't have that ability that I have in dealing with these guys. And let me tell you, it's a creepy feeling to have to talk with one of these guys or to deal with them. And it's something that I've had to learn to do as a soul eater growing up. So I'm going to put in this video a picture of a laoka, because somebody posted it by a man that I'm friends with on Facebook, posted it up for me, and he asked me what the heck it was, because everybody was saying, oh, it's just a Bigfoot at night. And another guy, this one made me laugh, because when you see the picture, you'll see it. He said it was a boar. I have news for you. I've hunted boar since I was 8 years old. Razorback hogs with my grandfather and my uncles and all them. No, I got news for you people. This isn't a boar, okay? When you see the picture, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And then there are other people that said, oh, that's just a squatchy. That's what a squatchy looks like at night. No. Sasquatch beings do come out at night, and they do creep. Their scouts are really good, and they do the crab creep, which is what I call it, where they walk on their hands, and their knees are so low to the ground, it almost looks like they're a crab, walking on their toes almost. I mean, these guys are good. But to see a laoka do this, your hair's going to stand up on your neck, because you realize that this thing looks like a shadow that's got some substance to it, and it keeps shifting in and out of our perception. And so what you're looking at is this thing that sees you and will come for you, to scare you. That's their great delight here, is to scare you, because as one of them told me, when we have fear hormones in our bodies, it changes the taste of our meat. So that's not a really good idea to think about there, too long. Don't ruminate on that fact. It's kind of gross, And I'm going to admit, my first encounter with these guys, I was like, oh, hell no. I don't ever want to deal with you guys again. You guys are creepy, You guys are sick. But as the soul eater, that's my job. I have to deal with these guys and help them out when I can, Not helping them as in being super nice to them, but as in a conduit, between their world and our world. And these guys do have the ability, like I said, to shapeshift. They shift in and out of perception. They're solid, they're half solid. They almost look like a Nalusa Falaya, which is a shadow person, but shadow people never gain solidity. These guys can, while you're looking at them, one moment you can see through them, and then they kind of blur, and then they come back into solid form. So you're like going, oh wait, what was that I caught out of the corner of my eye? Wait, stop. I thought I just saw that, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Okay, and these guys will actively hunt you. It changes the taste of our meat. Remember that, because this thing that I'm telling you has the ability to hunt you, kill you, and eat you. And then you're gone, bye-bye, and there's nothing left for anyone to say anything about, except, oh, that used to be a nice person that I knew, but nobody knows what happened to him. Okay? These guys look very similar to steyama, okay? They're roughly the same size, but they're always darker. They're always darker hair, darker skin, darker complected. They never come out in the light. Never, never, never. They're always out after dark. Always. They live in the ground. They live, this one's going to freak everybody out. They live in the graveyard, you know? And I always thought as I got older, that this is where we got some of the stories for ghouls. That was until I encountered a ghoul, and then I realized, no, they're just related. You know, these guys are kind of creepy because they have realized that we humans have made a place for them, a sanctuary for them. You know, because seriously, who's going to look in a graveyard for a cryptid? Nobody. Nobody. You know, you're all out in the fields, you know, looking out there and in the woods and in the deserts and things, you know. And I try to warn people because I found this out, like I said, because I like graveyards, because that's my job as a soul eater, you know. I get spirits that come to me and I have to help them cross over. So I'm very comfortable in dealing with the dead. They don't bother me that way. So being in a graveyard at night and watching one of these guys come up out of a vault freaked me out. I was like, what the hell is that? You know? And then I started remembering what it was, you know, and the things that I had been told. And so they watched me for a number of weeks, and I watched them, you know. And I'm not going to lie here, they scare me to this day. When I go to deal with them, I make sure I have strong mojo with me, you know, strong medicine. I go packing my staff and I go packing my Bible because I'm not going to deal with these guys on their turf. They're coming onto my turf. And that's what I want you, as my friends and listeners, to be aware of. If you're going to deal with these guys and you really feel like you're brave enough to take them on, then I really want you to be aware of the things that you need to do this. My staff was my great-grandmother's, and it was passed down to my grandmother and then to me. It's what I use to walk with when I walk up in the mountains. It's a medicine staff. It's really, really, really strong, and it's really powerful. It's got a lot of mojo on it. And I also take my Bible because I know that Heavenly Father gave me this dominion over this planet and everything that's on it. And that's the key right there, people. On it. In it. Okay? These guys, when you're going to deal with them, you have to make sure that they are in corporeal, solid form. Okay? Because I'm telling you now, you're not going to be able to deal with them when they go shadow mode and are flitting all over the place. Okay? These guys are creepy, scary. They don't do the telepathy thing that the Bigfoot Sasquatch beings do. They have none of that. They don't do it either as the Shampoi does. Now, the Shampoi does it as a way of being able to catch a thought from you, and then he's always linked to you. You know, he can always find you back. That's just the same way that a Sasquatch being is. You know, I've told so many people this when they ask me, well, how did they find me? Well, how do you think? They have the ability to come find you because they have evolved along a different path line using the gifts that we used to have, but we just don't have them as much. Some of us don't have them as much anymore. But they definitely have telepathic abilities, the Sasquatch people and the chway. Okay? But the laoka do not. They just count on fear, and believe me, they know what fear is. They like to instill it in us, for that one purpose. And I know I've said it a couple times, so I'm not going to say it again, but it's pretty gross, and that's why they do it. Okay, these guys love to creep people out. That's what their big thing is. Fear changes it. Fear is a changer of all things. Okay? Now, when I'm talking about shapeshifters too, I want people to know I'm also talking about humans. Yeah, I know. That sounds like something out of fairy tales, and that's fine. I'm not going to insult you and say, what, if you don't believe me that, you can't be listening to my shows anymore, or, whatever. I understand that each culture is different, and that's perfectly fine. In Native American culture, we're very familiar with shapeshifters, and they are real. These guys don't say a bunch of mumbo jumbo words, and spells and prayers and a big flash of smoke and lightning and poof, hey, they're a shapeshifter person into a wolf or something. No, shapeshifters specifically have the ability to shift their form as a way of genetics. I know, it sounds crazy. Well, this comes from them somewhere, their genetic lineage, bred with another type of incorporeal being. Okay, an incorporeal being is someone that does not remain in solid form. Now, we all know that when I say that, everybody's like, huh? You either get it or you don't, okay? I'm talking about fae, fairies, little people, whatever you want to call them, okay? I try to keep it pretty simple because I know a lot of people out there aren't familiar with the terms I use sometimes. And that's cool, I try to remind myself I gotta be listener friendly. So I'm trying, okay? But I want everyone to know that somewhere in a shapeshifter's lineage, he had someone who had sex with an incorporeal being, okay? And once this occurred, be it voluntary or involuntary, well, we'll never know. Only that person's family will know. It's a genetic thing, and it does exist. It gets passed down. I've known 7 shapeshifters in my life. And yeah, I have seen them do it. It's an interesting way of living in the world. They have really strong mojo, and they try, the ones that I know, try very hard not to shapeshift, which boggled my mind, because if I had that ability, you better believe I'm turning into big badass cat, and I'm going to do something with somebody somewhere, that's ticked me off. So I was like, that's pretty cool. I would love to have that gift. So these guys that I've known, it's all been men and one woman. And it changes their body. Their bodies, they don't look like us, okay? These shapeshifters that I have known are beautiful. Their bodies are so lithe and so well toned that it was just beautiful to look at them. Their hands are really long, their fingers are really long, legs, everything about them is very attenuated. It's very, very well formed and perfectly molded. None of them had the Battle of the Bulge going on, or, they just didn't have any of that, And it was amazing to me how similar they all looked, in form-wise. They're all very tall, and the facial structure is very well boned, you can just tell what they look like, that they're otherworldly, It was amazing to me. That's the only way to approach this subject, and to watch them actively be able to shift from our reality into another reality and assume a form was mind-boggling. That is only something I've ever seen at ceremonies, where, to be quite honest with you, we use mind-altering things, drinks and whatnot, to take us to the spirit world, to their world sometimes, for those that can't go. And to see them in our reality shifted was just phenomenal, okay? And it was very, very strange, it just it creeped me out, but it fascinated me, and it was beautiful in such a creepy fashion that I always wanted to see them do it again. It was really strange. So I just want people to understand that shapeshifters exist in our reality as well as the cryptid reality. They really do exist. So are they dangerous to us? Oh yeah, they're way dangerous. I want people to know that. People need to be aware of what's out there, and that's why I'm doing this, because everyone knows that I had someone approach me who's famous now for writing a book about missing people, and I gave him the information and told him the things that I knew in the hopes that he was going to elucidate and not make people think it was all about Bigfoot. But woe is me, boo-hoo, poor cat. He didn't keep his word. Woo, big shock there. I've come to find out that that's not a trait that's very prominent among a lot of males, and females. They don't keep their word. And that's fine. That's, on them. But it's neither here nor there. But my point is this. A lot of people have read those books. And a lot of people there's two sides. You either associate it with Bigfoot or you don't associate it with Bigfoot. You're saying, oh no, that's not him. That's not Bigfoot, it's something else, okay, that's fine, and I want everyone, though, to be sure that they understand that there are beings out there that can shift and make themselves look like Steyama, they can make themselves appear to be a Bigfoot, and ask yourselves this, well, why would they do that? Well, these cryptids out there, the cryptids that I'm talking about that do this, are not really human friendly. So if they can make humans afraid of the stayama, which are not mean and aggressive as people say they are, you know. I mean, you have to be able to understand what you're dealing with when you're dealing with them to understand it all, you know. Then they're going to do it. You know, what better way to cast off suspicion from themselves than onto somebody else that they really don't get along with? You know, it's kind of like, oh, I don't like my neighbor, and, well, he causes me a lot of grief, and I've never really gotten along with him. And hey, guess what? I can make myself look like him, so I'm going to cause him some grief. So that way, you know, who cares? Because I'm not very honorable, you know, and they aren't. So that's just one way of looking at it. I want everyone to understand what I'm saying here, to be really clear on it, okay? Really clear and concise. Laoka are nasty. They do what they're going to do, and they don't care. They are eaters of human flesh. Okay? They do live in, like I said, in the graveyards. They will take a hunter. They will take a hiker. They will take somebody who's out in the woods. They rate right up there with the face eaters. You know, they're really bad. And they're very intelligent, you know. So just be aware when you're out and you see these things. You know, you see these things with the red glowing eyes. You know, just think in our world what red means. Red means danger. Red means extreme caution needs to be taken. You know, that's why stop signs are red. You know, that's why our lights, you know, at the intersections are red. You know, signs for do not enter are red. These are really straightforward cautionary things. Well, these guys have the red glowing eyes for a reason. It means caution that needs to be taken here. Do not approach, do not initiate an encounter with them. You know, a lot of people ask me, well, how come you initiate? I don't initiate encounters with beings. They come to me, you know, and if you've ever seen any of my photographs, you know, it's why I don't have too many visitors anymore that come to see me in my home, because I have a lot of otherworldly visitors that are in my house. You know, they're in my house, they're on my property, they're in my garage, they're all over the place. These guys are everywhere. You know, they do what they're going to do. You know, they come and go. So that's just the way that they are. You know, it's my life, and I don't initiate the contact with them. They initiate with me. All beings come to the Soul Eater for one purpose or another. Okay? And it's usually because they need help. Help bridging the gap between the human world and their world. And unfortunately, that's my job, you know. And yeah, I say unfortunately because I've been doing it a long time. Sometimes I get really tired, you know. I can never, ever, ever have a break. I sleep 3 hours a night. It sucks, you know. And if you see me in videos, you've seen that I've got circles under my eyes all the time. Because I'm always out with them. Always. You know, I can't go anywhere because I see them and they see me. So, oh, that just reminded me of something. I wanted to let everybody know, too, that I'm going to try and start going out, not right now, but in a little bit here. I'm going to start going up onto my mountain here and taking video. And I'm going to make video so that way when I'm walking, because remember I told you they use specific gifts that they have to make sure that most humans do not see them. But they can't hide from me. I always see them. So that means the camera can see them too. So I'm going to take the camera out there with me, the video, and I will start making videos so that way when I'm walking, I can show you what's out there, what I'm seeing, and as I'm walking, you're going to see these beings that live in our world and share our world right alongside of us. So that way you guys know that Crazy Cat isn't as crazy as everybody likes to think I am. Don't get me wrong, I know I'm Looney Toonies. Everybody says I am, so if that's what they want to think, that's fine. Because that just is better for me, because if you think that about me, that gives me the upper hand, and that's perfectly fine. So I just thought I would tell everybody that. I wanted to share that with you guys, so that way you know. It'll be one more thing that will be added here. So as we go along, this is an archive station. Ooh, doesn't it sound fancy? This is an archive channel. There we go. I like that word better, channel. This is going to be an archive channel that will have all of these lessons archived here. And that's what I'm doing this for, so that people have a place to come to look up, what it is they're seeing or what they're encountering, and they can say, well, gee, I can't get a hold of Kat today. What was it she was saying about these guys? I think this is what this thing is, and they can look it up. And they go, yeah, she made a video about this. There it is. Okay, listen to it again. Make sure I got everything, write it down, whatever. And then they can go on their way and go encounter these guys. So that's my big goal here. And I'm sorry if I have to keep drinking. It's really dry here in Arizona. And it's only 97 degrees out today. We're lucky. The other day it was 110, so. Anyway, I hope this lesson has helped you guys. Like I said, I'm going to put some pictures in here. And I'm going to make sure that everything is in here for you guys so that if you encounter them, you'll understand what it is you're encountering. Shapeshifters are real. Shapeshifters can be human or they can be cryptid. And I always tell people, when you're dealing with shapeshifters, just remember this. They think that they have the one up on you, okay? But remember, as human beings, we were given ordinance and command of this planet. And I really want people to understand that, because when I teach my students something, that's one of the first things that they really have to get pounded into their head. People, human beings, Homo sapiens, have the ability to master and control every single thing on this planet if, and the operative word being if, we want to. Okay? I'm not saying run away and live to fight another day is a good strategy. But it is a good strategy for your first encounter with one of these beings. Okay? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you have to live in fear. I'm just saying run away, gather your resources, think about what you're going to do the next time you encounter this being. Because once you encounter them once, you're going to encounter them again. It's pretty much guaranteed. So make a plan, so that way you're safe and no harm can come to you. Because I hate it when I have to get told, we have someone missing and can you help us find or locate them? Is there something out there that we need to be aware of? and I get that. I do. I've gotten some pretty strange requests from people for help that way in the law world, when they're looking for missing people. Listen to what I'm telling you. In our world, here in the concrete jungle, the cities and our towns, we are supreme. But when we are in their realm, which was initially our realm, but we've all left it and moved into the cities and towns. So we pretty much told them, we surrender, we acquiesce, this is your land, you go ahead and take it. So now they look at us as intruding on their land. And I really want you to understand that remark I just made. Okay, I'm going to put the picture of the skull tree at the end of this video. Skull tree is a marker from my stayama, and it's a really scary, creepy ass thing to look at. But it's my stayama making a point. They are tired of being pushed back and people coming onto their territory. So my stayama made the skull tree. And when you look at this thing, I want you to understand it's not some little tiny 5-foot tall tree. This is a 30-foot tall tree, and it's really creepy and scary. And when you realize that it's dead, but yet these 600-pound plus beings are getting up there to put the skulls on the tree, that's when you start realizing that there's a paranormal aspect to this whole thing. Okay? And I wrote an article about it, several years ago, and I called it the poltergeist effect, Bigfoot and the poltergeist effect. For that very simple reason. People that deal with the stayama, at some point, everyone deals with the high strangeness and the weirdness and the creepiness that comes along with dealing with the cryptid world. Stayama included big time with these guys. So I want you to look at that tree when you see it on this video. I really want you to stop it and look at it, because there's all kinds of skulls on that thing. And does it intimidate the people that see it? Oh, hell yeah. They're scared of that thing. They see that thing and they're like, what in the world? Parks people ask me, what is that? They were going to chop it down. I was like, you better not. Better not do that, because we already have an understanding. Remember when they were stuffing coyotes through the trees? You don't want to see that again, because you sure don't like it when the little kids all come through the preserve, and they're bus loads, and all of a sudden they come across a coyote stuffed through a tree. So let's not do that. Let's stop and think it for what it is. I was one of the first people that really started posting up my pictures of signs that were being missed by people, when they were out traveling and looking for Bigfoot. They failed to notice all the skulls and the bones that were markers, that were placed in trees and on fence posts and in bushes, very prominent. People need to understand that this is how these cryptids are marking their territories. They don't have signs that they put up and say, no, don't come here, we don't want to deal with you, go away. They don't do that. They mark them with bones and skulls and dead animals and dead skin, and yeah, they're real subtle. Not. Anywho, I'm going to let y'all guys go and go do what you're going to do, but I wanted to talk on that subject, and I really want you guys to look over the stuff that I'm posting up here if you can. And if you have any more questions, just let me know and I will answer them for you. Until next time, you guys, thank you for listening to me, and I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Thanks, guys.